Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Welcome on into a DFS strategy video for the 2026 Valspar Championship. My name is Eric with SweetSpotDFS, and I'm here to go over all things SweetSpotDFS, which means going over the golf course and tournament information, the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups, going over the bucket system for the Valspar Championship, as well as the marquee tee times. The whole goal is to narrow down our player pool to try to hit the optimal lineup. We're targeting the optimal lineup. If we don't hit it, hopefully instead we hit the GPP winner instead. Aim small, miss small. That is the whole purpose of these strategy videos. And I actually have a kind of a cool way to do the bucket system this week. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, hopefully you guys got to see the Sunday night stream that I do with Byron. This is going to be a season-long thing. This is a new video. Most of you guys already know about it. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, but 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the 19th hole at 9 is what we're kind of calling it. And that is where we break down the tournament that just happened and we preview the next tournament. And I mentioned this to Byron after we got done, or the very next day. I said, man, these previews that we do Sunday night are such a good head start for the week when it comes to like looking into what matters at this next tournament. And he couldn't agree more. So I'm happy to be doing those. It literally gives me a head start when it comes to researching, and a lot of the things that I learned Tuesday, I instead learned Sunday. So now I get to move forward a little bit and advance my research. So I'm super happy about how that video is going, or how that dual stream is happening, because we're both streaming on both of our channels at the same time. Very, very happy about that. Now, I'm going to go over some housekeeping items. If you're watching this on replay, skip ahead. There are timestamps down below. People here that are live, and just to remind everyone, this is a live video first, and then it gets posted to YouTube and it's a replay. I do have people in the chat. So Joanne, Denny, Mr. Marlowe, AJ, what's going on, guys? Nice to see you all. Yeah, again, this is a live stream, so bear with me. At the end of each segment, I will try to, speak to the chat as I can. Housekeeping items I like to go over. One is, I always forget to mention this. I'm going to throw up the giveaway reminder on the screen, but I was hoping before the beginning of the Players Championship to get this channel to 900 subscribers. If I had gotten it to 900 subscribers before the start of the Players, or before my stream Tuesday of the Players, I was going to give away $50. That didn't happen. We got closer. We got closer to that, but obviously just didn't happen. I then asked Sunday night, during that dual stream with Byron and myself, if we could get to 900 subscribers before this video tonight, I'd give away $50. And we got a few more people, but we didn't quite get there. So unfortunately, we couldn't get to 900 subscribers. But here's what I will say. For the new subscribers that joined, I appreciate it. I am going to do a split the pot giveaway. Do you guys remember how that all worked out? And I'm going to use what the subscriber count was before the Players. So I think it was like 891. I think that's where we were with the subscriber count. So how it works is there will be a base amount for the giveaway, and this is going to be for the Masters. It's going to be a split the pot for the Masters. And I'll start it at 891. So we have 6 new subscribers so far. That split the pot will start at $20. And for every new subscriber, I will add $2. So that's kind of how I'm going to work that split the pot. So we already added $12 to that pot. So it's worth $32 now. So every new subscriber from here all the way to the Masters, every new subscriber will add $2 to this pot. Now, I don't have a graphic for it ready, but I will go ahead and put that out there. sometime this week. So I'll put it out on X. I'll try to see if I can put it on YouTube. If it's possible, you'll see it there. So just throwing that out there for you guys. Every new subscriber is worth $2. $2. And I'll add that to the Split the Pot giveaway. Now, when it comes to just normal giveaways, I have a weekly and a monthly giveaway. We did the monthly giveaway at the beginning of March. We'll do the new monthly giveaway at the beginning of April, which I think will technically be the tournament before the Masters. So I think the Masters starts on the 9th. That means April 2nd would be the monthly giveaway. And if you want to participate in either of these giveaways, or if you want entries into either of these giveaways, participate. I will basically give you an entry for if you're here in the live chat and I have a roll call that I give out. Usually it's just like, who's your favorite golfer this week? Who's going to win this tournament? Who are your favorite 2 golfers out of X, Y, and Z? That's it. It's a simple question. Sometimes I even ask you just to type the number 1 in chat. So make it really easy for you to participate. Get the live chat rolling. That way the algorithm picks it up, the YouTube algorithm, and tries to promote it to more people. So if you help me out, I will help you out. And give you the opportunity to win $5 every single week, because that's what the weekly giveaway is. Or the monthly giveaway is a membership to SweetSpotDFS.com, which is constantly building. And me and Byron have kind of been talking about this behind the scenes. We're going to try to do some little dual membership type of thing. So be on the lookout for that. And anybody who's currently enrolled in the lifetime membership, or even like a annual or a currently, well, lifetime would be the only membership that actually would be excluded, because we would probably the pricing would be a little different for monthly and annual. So be on the lookout for that. It's just in the works. I'm excited about it, so I'm sharing it with each and every one of you. Oh, and John Bizzle, what's going on, man? That's a good reminder. If this video, this Valspar video gets to 25 likes throughout the course of the week, I will give out 5 YouTube memberships. Now, you see, if you're watching the chat on the side here, sometimes on replay, you won't see it unless you open up the chat panel, but you can see everybody that has a badge next to their name. They're YouTube members. Some of them are red tier, some of them are white tier, but every Wednesday night, I do a podcast just for white tier members and above. And in that podcast, it's me breaking down more information that I have found out between now and then. And then I also show you how I'm going to be building lineups for the rest of, or how I'm going to build lineups for this tournament. And I'll answer any other questions you guys have. It is a stream for me and the members. So if you want to become a member, hit the little join button. There's a little $sign somewhere down here, somewhere down to the left. Click that and become a member. I think that is all that I have for housekeeping items. Yeah, I think that's it. So, John, nice to see you in the chat. And Denny says he'll be sharing the hell out of it. Tell 3 people. Yeah, thank you. Oh, never mind. Last thing. So, on our road to 900 wow. On our road to 900 subscribers, we're actually on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And once we reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away $1,000 worth of giveaways. One is a lifetime membership, one's an annual membership, and 2 $100 cash giveaways. So 4 total giveaways that I'm doing, 2 of them cash, 2 of them memberships to SweetSpotDFS.com. Go create an account on SweetSpotDFS.com. That is how you'll get entered into that giveaway. But of course, just trying to push this channel to 1,000 subscribers as quick as possible. So that is kind of the whole sell that's happening in this little housekeeping item section. So I apologize for those that don't like hearing that stuff. But hey, it's crazy. Sometimes you just got to ask for something and people will give it to you. Some people just don't know unless you let them know. Okay, that is all that I have let's go ahead and get into this, and we'll start with the golf course. Ooh, no, let's do the giveaway. This is the $5 weekly giveaway. I'm all over the place. Shot Like Harden. Shot Like Harden has not won a giveaway, I want to say, in a whole year. Shot Like Harden, I don't know if I remember where to send your stuff. I think it's PayPal, but you let me know. Reach out to me through email. Congrats. Oh yeah, and happy St. Patrick's Day. I totally forgot about that. I should have been wearing green today. Well, if I wore green, I actually would not even appear on the screen because I have a green screen behind me. It would be it'd be trippy. It would just be a floating head. All right, Shot Like Harden, congrats, man. Now we'll get into the golf course and tournament information. Okay. From here on out, I'm going to be using SweetSpotDFS.com. This is behind a paywall, a lot of this information here. A couple things that aren't behind a paywall, by the way. The cheat sheet. This is just, I love this thing. I use this personally, despite using the spreadsheets that I'll be using, that I'm still using. I refer to this a lot during my Sunday night streams with Byron. We use this page all the time. This is free, by the way. This is for free members. Create an account at SweetSpotDFS.com and just choose the free option. This is available to you guys. Scrolling down is another cheat sheet. This is the Google sheet. If you click here, it will bring up the Google sheet that I will also be referring to on my side of things, because I have my own spreadsheet that I copy over everything from here and I paste it to that cheat sheet for you guys. So this is available to you guys. Again, go to SweetSpotDFS.com, scroll down under Fantasy Tools to cheat sheet, and then scroll down on the page. This is available for you. And not only this, but I also have an optimizer that if you guys, I'll be building lineups here at the end of this video. If you would like to use the optimizer that I will be using, first of all, it looks like this. We will be using this later on in the video, but I guess once the page, loads, come on. Anyways, go to Fantasy Tools, down to Optimizer. A pop-up will appear. You put your email address in there, and that is how the optimizer will be requested. I don't know why it's taking forever. There we go. So this page will happen, and this pop-up will happen. You just put your email address here and hit request now. I will then get the request. I have to see it with my own eyeballs before I can send you the optimizer. So just be patient. I apologize for any wait that you might have, but I will get it to you as soon as possible. Okay, back to the tournament and golf course information. So I like to start here. Under Fantasy Tools, go down to Tournament Stats, and this page will show up. I've already loaded in the Valspar Championship, so if that's not loaded in for you, go ahead and just click under this filter and type in Valspar. Now, what I like to see from here is basically your average winning score, your lowest winning score, your highest winning score. That gives you a range of outcomes for this tournament. Your average cut score with the lowest cut score and the highest cut score. Again, it's another range. Field size on average and strength of field on average. All of these are data points. And mind you, the reason to go over the tournament and the golf course is to give you data points to use on the website. Every page that I have has this little filter bar on the left side. We have tournament stats, course stats, grass stats, and then fantasy stats. And each one of these, if you drill down, so let's use this just to show you guys. So let's use average winning score of 11.08. And I'm just going to go like minus 14, maybe minus 11. Well, let's go minus 8 to minus 14. So if I were to use, say, the strokes gain stats tool, which again, this is at SweetSpotDFS.com, scroll down to strokes gain stats, and we were to go to the tournament stats filter right here, you will see all of the filters. Pretty much these are all the data points that you can see on the tournament stats page. So like I said, winning score. So you would just type in here, I said -14 as the lowest score, and the highest score will go -8. So you just type all that in, hit enter, and then close down. It's just one filter I applied. You close that down. I also have the date filter applied here. You can change this to whatever you like. I just have it set to the last year, just looking at 1 year's worth of data. But if you wanted to clear that out and look at all years of data, you certainly could. This might hurt some golfers when they were really young and they weren't as good as they are now. So going too far back could be an issue. But let's just go back like the last 3 years. We went back the last 3 years. What I would do from here, so just that one filter and that one filter alone, is we did winning score, right? We just put the winning score of -8 to -14 in there. I would then sort by strokes gain total for this page, just for this page, strokes gain stats. You won't be able to do that for all pages, but for this page. And then you can see how many rounds of golf qualify each of those golfers. So you'll see the best golfer with that criteria would be Daniel Brown, but he only has 4 rounds of golf. The next guy is Xander Schauffele, who has 80 rounds of golf, followed by Viktor Hovland. They're the 2 most expensive golfers on the slate. So that kind of makes sense, right? But then you get like someone like Bud Cauley, who's 7,500, or Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson. That's only 6 rounds of golf, so maybe not great. But Bud Cauley seems like a good 7K option. And anyways, you can use these tools to your own disposal, however you want. That's just one way to look at it. If we went back to the tournament stats and we grabbed something else, we can use the cut score here. It's an average cut score of 1 over par, by the way, so that's tough. I would actually say even is probably the lowest I want to go. I guess maybe -1. We could go -1 to +3. And that's another filter that you can apply to any of these pages. Now, I would recommend maybe getting rid of the winning score filter, but we could keep that there. And you can see right next to it is cut score. So what I say, -1 to 3 over. And now we can look. This actually changes, and it actually resorted, by the way. But if you want to just double check, you can sort again. And now Xander's not the top guy, and we also don't even see Daniel Brown at the top. Now it's Viktor Hovland, followed by Keegan Bradley, Xander Schauffele, Bud Cauley, Patrick Cantlay, Corey Connors, but still Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson's up there. So that's something worthwhile. And so too, again, is Bud Cauley. So maybe Bud Cauley is a great choice. And of course, if you hit the little eraser button here, that will clear everything out. I think I still want to bring this back to 2023 for the date. You could apply the golf course here. It is Innisbrook. So all you got to do is just type in Innisbrook, and we will see basically every result that a golfer had, or how many rounds of golf that they've played. Again, this might be especially if you only go back 3 years, maybe we go back a little bit further to get more course history out of it. And you will see that Patrick Cantlay has 6 rounds of golf here. That would be 4 good rounds of golf and then 2 rounds of golf because he missed a cut. But you can see same thing applies here. Now we get Brooks Koepka up there, by the way, which we didn't see before. You get Davis Riley up there, Rio Satsune. We don't see Bud Cauley anymore, so that's more of a course history thing. If you didn't really care for just the golf course, so that was right here, we can clear those selections, and instead, maybe we use grass stats. I'll get to that here with the golf course, actually. The golf course, going over the golf course. But just for tournament stats, yeah. You have all the filters right here. Field size, we could change that. There are other things that we can apply here as well, but I'll leave that to you guys. I'm not going to go over everything that you possibly need to go over because everything is right here, right on the screen. Now, if I just put in 2026, you're going to see this year's tournament with the strength of field, what type of field type it is, how many golfers there are in the field. And you can see the strength of field is 370. The average field size, or the field size, I should say, is 133 golfers. I think it's supposed to be 136, but I've been looking for update files, and it just hasn't came for the last 3 golfers. I think I saw what they were online, but I just wasn't going to add it to the database just yet. But once I get those updates, I will. Now, I'm going to remove 2026. We can compare that to, you know, every other year. So 133 golfers in the field, maybe 136. You can see last year there was 154. I think this is one of the first events where it goes to a full field event because we have just enough daylight to get 156 golfers in. I mean, they still struggled. If you remember that was kind of a huge issue the last 3-4 years, is getting all the golfers to get through a round of golf in one day. They're really jamming it as much as possible. And now this year they've done away with having bigger fields. They've actually trimmed a lot of the field sizes. So last week at the Players, normally you saw 144 golfers. You end up seeing 121 or 123, something like that. I think it was 123. And much like this year, you normally see 144. I mean, if you look at all the numbers here for field size, it's usually 144. Now we have 133, which really, that's going to lend to a couple different things. One is the cut score will probably not be as high. And as high, when we mean high, we mean closer to 0 or into the positive numbers. If we were talking low, we'd be going lower than 0 into the negative numbers. Now, I only say that because it is still a pretty healthy strength of field with the field size that we do see. There are still some scrubs in this event and we don't have, you know, a good representation of elite golfers at this tournament, but we have good ones. I mean, Brooks is in the field. He's trying to, you know, solidify his season. He wants to get into those signature events. So he's got to play. He's got to win tournaments. But yeah, I would say the winning score, I would anticipate the winning score being somewhere between -11 to -13, something in that range. And your cut score will probably be even par to 1 over. I think those are good numbers to anticipate this week, just based off of strength of field and field size. That's essentially it. And it might be a little easier getting 6 to 6 through the cut than past years because there are less golfers in the field. Just throwing that out there. Now, when it comes to the golf course, I did not load this guys for you. I did not load this for you guys. I said that completely backwards. What I would recommend, I think the Players Championship is in here. So under select tournament, just type in Valspar, then check Valspar and uncheck the Players Championship. And then in here, you're going to have to find the Innisbrook Resort. I think it's going to be select on TPC Sawgrass. I'll change that after the stream. But we are in 2026, and here's where you'll get all of the grass information as well as shot shapes, you know, renovation information, how long the golf course is, the par. Down here, you'll see kind of a scorecard with the preferred shot shapes. So just a reminder, these aren't necessary. They're just preferred. They help with scoring opportunities. And it is more of a left to right golf course. We have seen golfers who draw the golf ball do well here. If I were to look at I'm sure I could look at this a different way, but if we went here, or if we came here, we can see some golfers who draw the golf ball. Billy Horschel, Lucas Glover, Corey Connors, the rest of and Xander, by the way, the rest of them kind of hit fades. Cam Young draws the golf ball. Xander draws the golf ball. Seabez draws the golf ball. You're just not going to get as many guys who draw the golf ball. Most guys who hit fades are going to have a bit of a benefit here. Fleetwood and Spieth, they usually draw the golf ball. Simpson draws the golf ball. Yeah, so it's like 3. You might get 3 guys every single year that their preferred shot shapes to draw. Most of the time it's hitting a fade. and it's difficult to even determine any of these guys hitting a draw. Like Harman hits a draw, but he's a lefty, so that acts more like a fade, you know, thinking of it from shot shape wise. So yeah, I mean, it's like fade. I forget what Davis Riley does. Fade for Thomas. He does like to shape shots both directions. Neesmith fades the golf ball. Fitzpatrick does both directions, so we could count him as a draw as well. Thigala does both directions. Can't remember what Sink does. It doesn't really matter. I'm looking at 2022 like that really matters. I was able to accurately look at the golfers over here in 2025, 24, 23 and look at their draw fade biases. But yeah, I think a left to right ball shape is the more preferred shot shape, especially on approach. So again, you can actually come here, go to the grass stats filter. We can go ahead and put the type of grass that's being used. Remember, actually, I didn't really go over this. It is an overseeded grass, mostly ryegrass with POA on the greens. Now, this is the same POA that they put on the Players' Championship, but I have seen this POA act differently than the TPC Sawgrass POA. What I mean by that is this tournament, I can even go all the way back to Tiger Woods contending for it in like 2021, 2022. What year was it that he played really well? He finished second. Was it 2019? Oof. 2018. Holy moly. I can go all the way back to 2018. And what I remember with the POA on this golf course is, I wouldn't say it's very similar to California POA, but it does bud quite a bit. And I remember watching tournaments down the stretch where it did get more of a plinko effect, whereas the POA that was on Sawgrass acted more like bent grass. It's up to you guys. You don't have to look at POA whatsoever. You could, I mean, if you wanted to, if you went to the website and you use the grass filters that are here, maybe you put POA, maybe you put bent grass, because it's going to include all events that have either bent and or POA. You can select that. We can go back again 3 years. Maybe we even only just go back a year. Well, let's go back 3 years. That way Brooks's stats look a little bit better. And then you can see who the best golfers are on these types of greens. I mean, Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson is showing up a ton. And you get all of our 9K golfers and our 10K golfers. Denny McCarthy even pops a little bit. Yeah, we could get rid of bent grass and just go with POA. And it does change a little bit. Still, Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson's up at the top, which is insane. That's kind of cool. Most of you might be wondering, like, why not just look at putting stats when it comes to these types of green surfaces? It's a great point. But I do have kind of a different opinion when it comes to grass stats and putting stats. I'm not a huge, like, over a long period of time, I like looking at putting stats, because that way you can actually tell by someone's baseline if they're a good putter or not. Within the last year, you know, if a golfer just like, you know, putted 40%, you know, 50% was average and they just putted to a 40% baseline, that might be worse than they typically do. Putting is, like Byron has said before, it is binary. It's either in the hole or it's not. And you're not going to have the same putt at every single golf course you've ever played. You might have the most different, you might have a putt you've never seen before, you've never had before at a golf course. And you might know kind of where it's going to break. And so you hit the putt with the best educated guess, but you still have to execute. You still have to, well, one, you have to execute. So if you execute and you hit it perfectly, now it's based off of what line did you choose. So if it was a guess and you guess right, it's in. If you guess wrong, it's not. You hit a good putt and you know, So there's a ton of different things because, again, if you didn't execute and you guessed right, you're going to miss the putt. Maybe if you guessed wrong and you didn't execute, you actually make the putt, because two negatives can make a positive sometimes in golf. But needless to say, I don't necessarily care about putting. I care about results. That's why I use strokes gained total. It is also very good to see strokes gained ball striking. So off the tee and approach, I want to see those two numbers, those two stats off the tee and approach in the positive. So I want strokes gained ball striking to be positive. And you can just eyeball that. So like Xander here, you know, -4, or I'm sorry, it's not a minus, plus 0.414, and then you add 0.7392 to it. That's obviously positive. Denny McCarthy down here, that is a negative ball striking stat. Negative 0.235 plus 0.127. That ends up being negative. I don't like that. You know, he's known for being a really good putter. That's because he's really bad on approach. And if you've ever heard me talk about strokes gained stats, the lower the approach, the higher opportunity to gain on putting. The higher the approach, the harder it is to gain on putting. That's just how it goes. And then you got golfers like Xander who are good at both approach and putting, and that's why he's elite. So just throwing that out there. I don't really care to look at putting with grass stats. It makes sense. Don't get me wrong. I understand the logic behind looking at putting and grass stats. I don't know. Over a long period of time, I will. Let's put it that way. Over a long period of time, sure. If someone is just really bad at POA, they're bad at POA. If they're bad at Bermuda, they're bad at Bermuda. If they're good at bent grass, then they're good at bent grass. But 1 year's worth of time, I don't think is enough. It might be, but it's, I don't know, it's borderline. Anyways, I've exhausted that topic. We can move on. I just wanted to show you guys all of the stats that you can find at SweetSpotDFS.com. And the fact that you can have filters for these, including shot shapes. So I think that's under course stats filter. Yeah, shot shapes. Look at this. Total off the tee draws, total off the tee fades. This just looks at every tournament where I have deemed how many preferred shot shapes there are. So remember, we were in fades. We want to look at golf courses that have a decent amount of fades. So let's just do this. Let's go. I want a tournament that has 3 fades or more. And then we can look to see who's the best on strokes gained total. Still some of the same guys. I mean, you know, Victor primarily hits a fade. He's been hitting draws more frequently now, but he used to just always hit a fade. Koepka, Thomas, they're fade golfers. I think Brennan's also a fade golfer. We have Rasmus Niergaard Peterson up there. That's awesome. Tony Finau is a fade golfer. Patrick Cantlay is not. He's a draw golfer. He hits draws. So does Xander, but Xander shapes shots both directions. So we're seeing a lot of the same guys at the top. I mean, that's kind of easy to anchor some of your lineups around these guys, right? I think it's a pretty decent telltale. So yeah, that is your golf course and tournament stats breakdown. Again, they're meant to be used to this whole portion of the video is meant to go over the data points that you could use for researching, especially at SweetSpotDFS.com. So I will check in with the chat before moving on to the next section. What's going on, Lee? Nice to see you. I sang for Chaos today at a pub. Oh, for the Chaos. Oh, St. Patrick's Day. That's right. That's pretty cool. Mr. Marlowe, I need a key for these cheat sheets. I'm so bad at trying to figure out the abbreviations. Cheat sheet abbreviations. Oh, like strokes gained last year, strokes gained last 7 weeks, strokes gained last week. Are we talking about that? Or are you talking about the abbreviations that I have on my spreadsheets, which aren't shared with anybody, like these abbreviations? Wheels Up goes, PME reported that Smotherman's wife is due with a baby on Monday. The speculation is that he might withdraw if that happens. With all the WDs I've been burned by, I'm out this week. Thoughts? Yeah, Smotherman's such a great choice in DraftKings this week. But with that looming on your brain, oh my God. Oh, I don't like that at all. Yeah, I would have to agree with you. Mr. Marlowe, let me see if there's something on the cheat sheet that's provided, that I'm providing you guys, where there would be abbreviations. Oh, okay. So I'll go over this really quick. And just I think it's going to be simple to remember. Because golf stats are just relatively the same everywhere you go. SG will always stand for strokes gained. Always. CH will always stand for course history. RF will always stand for recent form. LY is last year. LW is last week. SH is starting hole. TT is tee time. Game is just the order that the tee times are in. Starts with hole number 1 and then it goes 10, 1, 10, 1, 10, 1, 10, 1, 10, 1, all the way down for every tee time. Wave is self-explanatory. Group rank is self-explanatory. As I go through this, OWGR is official world golf rankings. SOF stands for strength of field rating. And again, LY, last year, course history. This should not say bent. This should say Bermuda, believe it or not. I am using Bermuda stats because of the region. It's more of a regional thing, not so much a grass stats thing. And I don't think you should really look too much into that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't, I wouldn't really sort by the Bermuda stats. And then for the die, this should be POA. Yeah. Okay. So those are just grass stats. LW is last week. DK is DraftKings. RU70 is rounds under 70, and then rounds under 70%. Then you got all the stroke chain stats yet again. Recent form. Diff is just the difference between this. I believe it's the scoring average. Let's double check. Or is it? I'm not sure I remember. I do color code it just to show you how good it is. And I think that just means that these golfers are playing better. Let me see. Is it by their season long? The differential, let's see. 29.83. I don't know. I'd have to look back into that. I totally forgot what the differential is. Oh, I know what it is. Differential is the low score from the average, the scoring average. So it's literally this number minus that one to get to that. The bigger the number, I like to think of, the more volatile their scoring is. And quite frankly, a lot of times the better they are at DraftKings, being on DraftKings. So throwing that out there for you guys. Let's see. Are there any other? I don't know. You tell me. CM percent means cut made percentage. So if you wanted to filter out by that field, that sounds like a smart idea to do. And then the extra stats, I've only been keeping track of 3 stats. I just don't care to keep track of the other ones. Double D's, that is driving distance. BA is bogey avoidance. BOB is birdie or better percentage. And then that's about it, man. That's about it. There isn't anything else I really don't think you need to know or you can't figure out. I think. You can let me know though. You let me know. Retail Ripper says, just skip Smotherman. He'll be way over owned. That sounds like a really good idea. This is a driver heavy course. Some influencers are not mentioning that. Yeah, a lot of people are actually talking about how it's more iron, more approach based, where the driver gets mitigated, which is, I don't know. I will always look at off the tee as an important stat no matter what. I mostly look at the first 6 columns, not sure how to understand that area mostly. This is all based off my bucket system. So SweetSpot rank, that's just my ranking based off the model. And then these just go by buckets. So when I go over the bucket system, I pretty much go over that in full detail on how to use the spreadsheets with the bucket system. And I will be going over that in this video. So if you need a refresher, anybody that needs a refresher, or if you need to learn, I will be going deep into the bucket system this week. Just throwing that out there. Wheels Up goes, no problem. I don't want any of my lineups to be ruined if he actually withdraws for such a great reason, like dad power. Those are beautiful sentiments, but I think I'll just stay off high risk options, especially in positive situations like that one. But also coming from a guy who's been burned. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Wheels Up's been burned by a lot of withdrawals. Lots of withdrawals. So have I. So have I. I had Rory McIlroy at the API. Woohoo! I mean, I had him in my one and done. Love that. So I got money, but not much. And then I had Scotty at the Players, which he didn't withdraw, but that sucked. I had Colin in my Millie Maker lineup, and he withdrew. So yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I know the pain. Okay. So we're going to go from golf course and tournament information to pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. So we don't have Scotty Scheffler in the field anymore. We can, here, hold on. We don't have Scotty Scheffler in the field anymore. I don't mean that to be so negative, but why I cheer as to why Scotty Scheffler's not on the field is because I don't have to deal with the $14,000 price tag anymore. Our most expensive golfer is $10,900. So now we get back to kind of normality when it comes to salaries on DraftKings. And we can kind of follow the typical 10-9-8, 7-7-6 method to building lineups. We've kind of adopted a faux 10-9-8, 7-7-6 approach, which is a 9+, 9-8, 7-7-6. So that's 2 9s. Usually it's a higher 9K golfer. It's really just a 9 or a 10K golfer. That's what the 9+ means. And then it's a 9, 8, 7, 7, 6, because we still see that more often than not. In 2026, if we just filter out by 2026 and we look at the lineups that I have kept track of, and by the way, that's all that this page is. I keep track of 3 different types of lineups. They're at the top here. You get the GPP winner, or the GPP winning lineup, the optimal lineup, and the SweetSpot optimal, which all you need to know about the SweetSpot optimal is it's the best lineup, not named the optimal lineup, that uses $49,600 of the salary and above. So if there's an optimal lineup that uses $49,600 of the salary and above, I then go to the second best lineup, and that would be the SweetSpot optimal for that tournament. Basically, what I'm trying to do with the SweetSpot optimal is prove to you guys that you don't need to leave a lot of money on the table, and you can still build a lineup that will compete with the optimal lineup, that'll be very close, and still blow out the GPP winning lineup. So that's why I keep track of it the way I do, because leaving a lot of money on the table is very difficult to build successful lineups. And if you want to know why, the quick and easy version of that, the too long didn't read version, is when you leave a lot of money on the table, you open up more lineup build possibilities. So if you have a tight core or a tight salary range that you're willing to leave on the table, or that you're willing to spend, your lineup, you could probably only build at most, 1,000 different lineups. If you were to leave $1,000 on the table, your 1,000 lineups, that tight 1,000 lineups that you could build, turns into not even like just slightly more, but exponentially more lineups that you could build. And what I mean by that is, instead of 1,000, you're looking at billions of different lineups and sometimes trillions of lineups. So getting the right lineup while leaving a lot of money on the table is nearly impossible. It's really not wise to leave a lot of money on the table. Not wise. So anyways, that's what the SweetSpot Optimal is there for. So I keep track of these three. And if we look at 2026 and only 2026, Scottie Scheffler was a part of one of those tournaments where he was a $14,000 golfer. I would say this week's salaries are pretty similar to when Scottie Scheffler is in the field. So if Scottie Scheffler was in this field, I don't think anybody's price tag gets changed. I think DraftKings has kind of created kind of a baseline for a lot of the golfers for these tournaments. And I think that's kind of what they're basing everything else off of. Like, you won't see an $11,000 golfer not named Rory McIlroy. You won't see anybody higher than $11,000 not named Scottie Scheffler. So there's a part of this that I enjoy, because then it makes everything more consistent and it's easier to then forecast in the future. But a lot of my data is, well, I shouldn't say a lot of my data, all of my data for salary builds is historical, looking in the past. So 2026, your most common lineup build is that 998-776. Like I said, the 9 plus 9-8-7-7-6. So it starts there, and then you get a 10-8, 2 7s, 2 6s. See, that would be Scottie Scheffler. That's the Scottie Scheffler lineup. You see this? American Express. Highest salary golfer is $14,200. Then you get a 10-10, 2 7s, 2 6s, which was the Genesis Invitational. I think that's when Rory was in that lineup. Then it's a 10-9-8-7-7-6. Remember, that's the typical jingle, 10-9-8-7-7-6. But it's now been surpassed by the 9 plus 9, 8-7-7-6 lineup. And again, that's a large reason to do with Scottie Scheffler. Like, if we look at these lineups, so Puerto Rico Open, Scottie was not in that field. But Arnold Palmer, he was. WM Phoenix Open, he was. And you can see it's all three of the lineups. So you can kind of largely ignore that to some extent because it's not variety. I'd like to see more than one tournament, but it is what it is. In fact, you can drill down on each one of these to see if you can find a lineup that actually spans over multiple tournaments, but you're not going to. Everything is pretty much set to 1 or 2 tournaments. And I mean, we have events where Scottie Scheffler was not a part of. So if you want to go look at those ones like the Cognizant Classic, you can actually eyeball it from here. 3 9s, a 7, and 2 6s. Or 3 9s, 2 7s, and a 6. The optimal lineup left a lot of money on the table, so we can just ignore that. Scottie played the Genesis. Scottie played the AT&T Pebble Beach. Scottie did not play the Farmers Insurance Open, where your SweetSpot Optimal was a 10-9-8-7-7-7. Your GPP winner was a 9-9-8-7-7-7. So it still kind of follows that 10-9-8-7-7-6 approach. And then the Sony Open down here, 10-9-8-7-7-6. And if we wanted to look just to see, okay, Sony Open, let's take a look. Sony Open. What were those lineups? By the way, this is called the Pass Optimal and GPP Winning Lineups page. The other one was the Historic Salary Builds page. This one will actually show you the golfers and their price tags. So you just pick a year, pick a lineup that you want to look at. Let's look at the SweetSpot Optimal. And then we can go salary from top to bottom and just see what it looked like. You had Russell Henley at 10,300, Bobby Mack at 96, Goddard up at 85, 2 somewhat low 7Ks and 1 high 6K in Patrick Rogers. If you wanted to look at the entire salary board, just don't choose a lineup, but just look at 2026, and then we can kind of see what does that look like. That had 2 10K golfers in it. And mind you, again, one of them actually had the sweet spot optimal. Like you can see the stats over on this side, just above my head. Russell Henley was a part of the sweet spot optimal, and Ben Griffin was a part of the GPP winning lineup. They both were in the 10K range. So I don't know if that makes you feel more confident in playing these types of lineups. And let's look how many 9K golfers we had. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 9K golfers. That's insane. You normally see like 7. And then you usually see 10 8K golfers. Do we have 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Okay. So that's normal. You normally see that. Now, maybe we don't want to look at the Sony. We want to look at the Cognizant just to see what lineup builds. And again, the purpose of all this is what are some non-Scotty tournaments where we've seen salaries? How can we closely kind of build sort of like that and then compare it to also Valspar information that I'm about to go over? So here, did we have no 10K golfers? That's right. The 2 10K golfers withdrew from the Cognizant. But then you had your highest price guy, Shane Lowry. Who was it? I forget. It was Jacob Bridgman, and it was it Ben Griffin? I forget who the 10K golfers were that ended up withdrawing from the Cognizant. But then it's just all 9Ks. So how many 9Ks did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 9Ks, and I bet you 10 8Ks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 8Ks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow. Okay. That's even less 9Ks and 8Ks total. So interesting to look at, right? And then of course, if we go to this week's cheat sheet, we've got 3 10Ks. So 1 more than we've seen in those other years or those other tournaments. And we have 1, well, actually here's an easy way to do this. You see the little numbers that are at the top here? We can go into the buckets here, and I can look at salary 2, which is our 9K range. We have 8 9K golfers. Go back into the buckets, check 3, like deselect 2, check 3, and we have 11 8K golfers. So it's on par with the same amount of numbers. Actually, I think we have more. We have more 10, 9, and 8s combined than we've seen 10, 9, and 8s in other tournaments. So I actually would make a huge argument this week that a 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 is probably the best lineup build that you can start with. Start with a 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6, and then go from there. You want to do the 9 plus 9? I think that's also fine. If we just take a look at Valspar Championships, your most common lineup build is a 9, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. This is just Valspar. We typed in the tournament Valspar. That's all that we're getting. Then it's a 10, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6. 10, 9, 8, 8, 6, 6, 10, 9, 9, 7, 6, 6. 6K range is very popular. Don't even see the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 right here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 right down here. That was your sweet spot optimal in 2021. Huh. Very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. If you wanted, you could, again, come back here. Instead of the Cognizant, we put in the Valspar. And we could just break down every single year. What did we see? There were 4 10K golfers, you know, at the top of the salary board in 2025. Followed by, you know, do the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 9Ks. So it's a smaller 9K range. That's probably why the 10K, again, if we go to historic salary builds and we just put in 2025, that's why the 10K ruled the lineups in 2025, most likely. But we can go ahead and look. So that was 4 10Ks. If we go to 2024, we also had 4 10Ks. Xander was up top. He was in the optimal, the GPP, and the sweet spot optimal. We go to 2023. We also had 4 10Ks. Now, Sam Burns, who was 10,200, was only in the GPP winning lineup. He was not in the sweet spot optimal. Actually, the sweet spot optimal had Jordan Spieth in it. All right, so when there's 4 or more 10K golfers at the Valspar, so far it's 100% at least having one of them in your GPP winning lineups. 5 10K and above golfers. Wow, 5 in 2022. 2021, we also had 5. And again, Victor was the guy at the top. No tournament in 2020. Okay, so high-priced golfers are proving to be very valuable at the Valspar. Now, the issue with this year is we only have 3 10K and above golfers. That's it, 3. Now, they're good. The actually, Victor and Xander, I have an argument a little bit later on in this video to try to, well, I don't want to convince you guys, but I'm going to make the argument that one of those 2 golfers is like, they're one of 2 golfers you should anchor your lineups around. And we'll get to that when it comes to the buckets. But yeah, I mean, there's 3 10K golfers. Is that good enough where one of them will be inside the top 10 or even inside the top 5? Probably, especially with what I'm about to show you. And you know what? I'm actually, would this be a good time? Let's do it right now. Actually, let's do it right now, because it's not going to fall under the bucket system and it's not going to fall under the marquee tee times. So I'm technically done with the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups, trying to forecast, what kind of lineup build is going to be the best to start out with this week. But here's something I want to show you. I went over this with Byron. I'm going to put filters on each one of my tabs here. Again, this is my spreadsheet. I don't provide this for anyone else, but I go through the years and I keep track of this recent form type of look. I'm going to include this in the website at some point in time. You're going to see a very similar, I mean, you kind of get that with the cheat sheet under recent form. So if I clear this out, if you look, you got all the buckets here to the left, which you don't have on the recent form, like the pages I'm about to show you. But you'll have the golfer, you'll have the salary, you have course history last year, recent form, and then you'll have 7 weeks of data. That's exactly what I have here. You've got course history, last year finish. I do include cut made percentage. If you guys want to see that, let me know. I can add that to the spreadsheet. But then you have recent form average, and then you have the last several weeks. Now, this shows you the tournaments. I can't really do that in Power BI. I can only just do -1 week, -2 weeks, -3, whatever. And then you'd have to compare that to the schedule just to see what that looks like. So anyways, it's very much the same. Very much the same. Some of this is just in a little different order. But basically what I'm going to do, this is what I did with Byron. We looked at what mattered more, course history or recent form, or a trend of both. And so I'm going to apply filters to each of these pages. Currently, there are no filters applied to any of them. Just want to make that point out there for you guys. So if I go to 2025 and I just add the filter that I have here, what I have done, and this goes back, if you go check it out on Sunday night stream, when we go over our preview of the Valspar, we're looking at the top recent form golfers as well as the top course history golfers. And we found that there was overlap inside, with success for these golfers. So basically the top 28 in course history, we filtered out by whatever number that was. It was 40 in 2025. And then we filtered out the top 28 of recent form. So we apply both of those filters at the same time, and we get this very narrow, very small subset of golfers. But look at this. Like, this is insane how successful looking at this and seeing the performances. So in 2025, let's sort by salary from top to bottom. Your top 2 golfers were in the GPP winning lineup. That's what the little blue colors here indicate. But look, your top guys in the 9K and above range finished inside the top 20. 3 of them finished inside the top 10. And the guy who didn't finish inside the top 10, Tommy Fleetwood, was in the GPP winning lineup. So that's 4 golfers. 4. But you really just wanted to play 2. That's what my argument would be. You just wanted to play 2. Maybe 3, but most likely 2 because you couldn't fit the other golfers. And also keep track of this. $8,600 golfer, $7,600 golfer. Okay, so we go to 2024. Same thing applies. Your course history, the top 28 in course history, I have as 40. And recent form is 40 as well. I would unapply these filters just to show you, but it's just so much work. I'd rather not. And if we look at salaries now, you get Xander, the top priced guy. He was in the GPP winning lineup, the SweetSpot Optimal, as well as the Optimal lineup. And then you get 2 other guys that were in the GPP winning lineup down here. One guy finished 45th place, by the way. So really, there were 3 golfers again, but only 2 of them that I'd actually really consider, and that would have been Mitchell and Xander. You had Sam Burns missing the cut, by the way, which was very surprising considering his success at this tournament. And then Justin Thomas, I couldn't tell you why he played as poor as he did, but that's not good enough, right? Either way, still 10K golfer, still did well. 2023, we go ahead and put those filters on again. We have 4 golfers. Your course history number was 40. Your recent form number was 45. 45. And we had Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Denny McCarthy, and then Brandon Moo. So your 8K golfer here, I think the only 8K golfer that really survived was Keith Mitchell, $8,900. And that was, I mean, McNeely did too at 81. But kind of a high 8K golfer is what we're looking at. Here, again, your top price golfers, JT finished 10th place. Jordan Spieth finished 3rd. We go to 2022. Not going to be as successful, but we do have 2 golfers yet again that finished decent. Alex Norton and Justin Thomas, your top price guy once again. Top priced golfer. 2023, not so much your top price guy. That was Jordan Spieth. That was better. But 2024, yep, top price guy. 2025, yep, top price guy. And it's another golfer that's above $8,500. That did well. 81 and below, not so much. 2021, we applied those same filters and you get 3 golfers that finished inside the top 20. Your top priced golfer in this, he wasn't the top priced golfer for the field, by the way. I think it was Dustin Johnson. Like Victor Hovland was 10,500 and he was in the optimal lineup. Justin Thomas was 11,500 in that field. But for this criteria that I'm putting for course history and recent form, yes, see 3 golfers. And another thing to add to all of this, there aren't that many golfers to look at. That's the big thing. Remember, the whole purpose is to narrow down a player pool to select golfers from. That helps us target the optimal lineup. So that is what we're trying to do. And you had some good golfers here. Again, over $8,500. We go to 2019. I'm going to keep going. I think I can go all the way back to 2015. And this applies to just about all of them. 2019. Karl Casey, $9,700. This one, I think Dustin was actually the top price guy this time. Yeah, Dustin Johnson, 11,500. He was in the SweetSpot Optimal. But your top price guy following this criteria with course history and recent form was Jason Day. Missed the cut. Sergio, not a great performance. But Paul Casey, $9,700. And then Kokrak, $8,600. Again, over 85. You did have an $8,100 golfer in the GPP winning lineup, though. So, but the other thing to note is there's nobody in the 7 and 6K range so far that's even remotely coming close to being a good play following this criteria. 2018, we only have really 1 golfer that was good, and that was Sergio, 10,900. He finished 4th place. Then we just have, let's do salaries like this. There's only 2 golfers that were above $8,500. The rest of them, $8,200 and below, not super great. Go to 2017. And I don't have price tags now. Don't have price tags. We have 1 golfer that was decent. Jason Duffner. And who knows what his price tag would have been. If I go to 2016, we have 4 golfers that finished inside the top 20. 1 guy who finished inside the top 10. Again, don't know what these price tags would be. And then 2015, you had your winner here with Jordan Spieth. Again, I wouldn't know what their price tag would be. And then you also had Harris English. So yeah, I think that was a fun. So it's like there was only 1 year where only 1 golfer showed up, and that was 2017. Oh, 2 years. Sorry, 2017 and 2018. Yeah, I couldn't tell you why some of this happened the way it did for 2017, 2018. My knowledge doesn't go that far back. So if I applied those same filters for 2025, here are the golfers you get. A small group of golfers, yet again. If we are kind of using that, don't play anyone less than $8,500, Taylor Moore and Kevin Streelman get kicked out. And now you've got this small group of golfers right here, 6 of them, to choose 2 to 3 golfers from. That's how I'm building lineups this week, by the way. Tomorrow when I build lineups for the YouTube members, it will be choosing Xander, building lineups with Victor, like, up to 5 probably. Xander with Bridgman, Xander with Spieth, Xander with Sahith, Xander with Rio. And then I might allow it to select 3 of these guys, if possible. I mean, going from 10-9 to 9-3 to 8-6, that's pretty simple, pretty easy. 10-9-8, it's the start of a 10-9-8, 7-7-6 lineup if I started this way. And then the same thing will apply with Victor Hovland. I'll build lineups with Hovland. That will be with Bridgman. That will be with Spieth. That will be with Thigala. That will be with Hisatsune. What I probably won't do much of is adding 3 golfers in this night. I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. I think I really want to play a 10K golfer in either Xander or Victor Hovland. Since going back and seeing all the years where it actually shows to like that plays well, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, is just play a high price guy. Here's 1 year where it was 93, 91, 87. 93, 91, 97. So if I go back to 26, it was what, 93, 91, 87? Well, we could go 96, 93, 88. Or 96, 93, 86. So yeah, actually, maybe I will do that. I'll try to build lineups that way. That will be our 998, 776. So I wanted to share this with you because I think this is going to be a pretty decent way of building lineups. Okay. Let me check with the chat before I move on to the bucket system. Yes, it starts with AJ said, I had 5 lineups with Morikawa and Fox. Yikes, dude. I had 3, says Wheels Up. The same pair. That sucks. Yeah, I had Young, Fitz, and Bridgman. Those lineups should have won me millions. Okay. All right, moving on to the bucket system. Here we go. The bucket system is exclusive to SweetSpotDFS. And basically what it does, it looks at the stats, the same stat categories that we look at for every single tournament, and determines which ones matter more than others. Now, I have to admit something. I forgot they didn't play the Valspar in 2020. Unfortunately, if I don't set the formulas that go behind the numbers, it's going to include 2020. And if I scroll down on this page and we go to this section here where it's bucket totals per year. You look at 2020, it's all zeros because there wasn't a tournament that was played in 2020. So I have to go into the formula that builds out these minimums right here, all of these minimums, and change that. So that's the only thing that's going to be off. Just throwing that out there to you guys, because if I go from this bucket system on the website, this is on the website, by the way, Fantasy Tools bucket system. This is still a wonderful tool to use, despite having the minimums off for top 10, optimal lineup, top 5, and top 20s. So I will fix that either tonight or tomorrow. But if I were to go here to this page, you're going to see that the minimums for some of these buckets are more than 0. So just throwing that out there in case any of you eagle-eyed data experts or anything like that see that there's a discrepancy between those numbers. That's the reason why. So just being transparent, that's all. Some of you, Byron would be arguing with me like nobody cares about that. Nobody's going to pick up on that. That's fine. I still have to talk to you guys about it. So here's what I thought to do. And I think this is what I'm going to do going forward, because not only am I going to show you the golfers in each of the buckets, but we are going to perfect the optimizer and the projections that go into the optimizer. So I'm going to go stat by stat, and we're going to look at each of these buckets, and we're going to determine, is the projection correct or is it not? So if you didn't know, for everybody at home, I use these projection numbers. And also, again, you guys can follow along. If you scroll down to the cheat sheet that's down at the bottom of the page of the cheat sheet, and you click here, right here, this little button here, this will pop up a cheat sheet for you guys. The bucket system is down at the bottom. If you look at the little tabs at the bottom, if you went to the bucket system and you applied filters to this, the way that I am basically applying filters on mine, you can do the exact same thing. You can follow along with me. Super simple. So what I do with these projections, the projections here, they go right into the optimizer right up here. So this last year stat category, the minimums and the maximums are in here already. And so what I thought to do moving forward with the bucket system, because this will just help us build better lineups, is to go through each of these buckets one by one and just look at the projections. Do they fit the type of golfers that are in those buckets? So this very first bucket says 1 to 3. On the optimizer, I have it set at 1 to 3. So if we go into 2026, I'll hide this because it's redundant. We don't need to look at that. And I were to go ahead and put the filters on here, and let's sort by salary. Make sure the sort by salary is top to bottom. What we're going to do is clear out this last year bucket. Find the LY, Mr. Marlowe. I know this is what you were kind of questioning. What do I do with these stats over here? I'm showing you right now how to use this. Go into last year, clear out everything, and put last year 1. Now we get the golfers that are in the last year 1 bucket. And for those that don't know what that means, if I went to the summary, I could show you one of 2 ways. Here's the summary. This last year 1 bucket, the range is 1 to 20. That means that's their average finishing position at this event. Oh, not average. I'm sorry. This is what their finishing position was last year. I got ahead of myself with course history. This is what their finish was last year. So if I go to 2026 and I scroll over to the right, or this is the dream sheet, I should say, you can see what their finishing position was last year, all inside the top 20. If you have other, other sites that you use to figure out this information, go for it. I got no issue if you want to go look it up yourself. So when we look at this bucket, what I want to try to determine is, does this bucket have enough golfers in it to, well, it's 2 things really, right? One is, does it have enough good golfers in this bucket to exceed the projection of 3? Because again, if I go here and I look at the projection, it's 1 to 3. Always round down with this number, always round up with that number. So 1 to 3, and again, on the optimizer, I have 1 to 3. So we have Schauffele, Hovland, Bridgman, Justin Thomas, Corey Connors, Hisatsune, Castillo, all of these guys. I don't know about you, but it seems like that bucket should almost, okay. First instinct is this bucket should be a 2 to 4. Just looking at it, just based off the golfers that are in it. And that's not comparing it to other years, because if you wanted to use this bucket system, like the website version, if you scroll down to this page with the results with the lead and bucket stats, you could select the bucket that you want to look at, so last year ones, and this will sort out by last year finishes. And you could look at every single golfer every single year. So in 2025, here were all your golfers. There was a lot of them. Holy crap. Here were all your golfers that represented that bucket. And you could sort by salary like we're doing right now. So Xander was the only guy that was 10,500, and then it dropped into the 8K range. And it dropped into the 7K range pretty fast. That's not like this tournament that we're currently looking at. So 2025 had 2 golfers inside the top 10, and it had 3 golfers inside the top 12. So 3, like that was pretty good. If we went to 2025, or I mean 2024, and we look at it, there were less golfers in this bucket, but there were 3 10K golfers. So it was 3 10Ks and 1 9K. So 4 golfers that were 9K and above. 3 of them were in the 10K range. Nobody finished. There's what, 1 top 10, 2 top 12s. That's not great. That's not great at all. But that's 4. It's a very small number, right? 4. If we go to 2023 and we take a look, we had 3 top 10 or 3 10K golfers again. One of them finished 6th. We have a $9,800 golfer that was 3rd. Look at the 9Ks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 9K and above golfers. Out of those 7, 2 of them finished inside the top 10. 2. If we look at 2022, same thing. We have a lot of 9K golfers. 1, 2, or 9K and above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of those 6 golfers, we had 2 inside the top 5. We look at 2021, no golfers because we didn't have a tournament in 2020. Duh. 2019. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 golfers that are 9K and above. And we had 2 inside the top 2. Inside the top 5. So I think we're seeing a bit of a trend. And if I go back to this sheet, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thought we had more. For whatever reason, I thought we had more golfers in this bucket. 5. I think I got to go back and look at this again. 5. So we had 5. Last year, we didn't have any. We had 1 that was in the 10K range, but $8,800 golfer and the $10,500 golfer, they played well enough to be in consideration. 2024. We had 4 that were 9K and above, and nobody finished inside the top 10. 2023. We had 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. We know our numbers there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in 2022. Let's go to 2019. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we had 2 inside the top 10. 2018. We only had 3. And none of them did well. And then I won't have salaries for 2017. But we did have our top 10s there. Didn't really in 2018. 2019, we had 3 top 2s. And if you want to see how many golfers are in this bucket every single year, you would unselect or deselect any of these buttons that are already selected and just look at this last year one bucket. So we had 20 in 2025, which we saw. There was a lot. 12 in 2024, 12 in 2023, 15 in 2022, 16 in 2019, 14 in 2018. Maybe that's why 2018 didn't really have many that showed up inside the top 10. 17 in 2017, 17 in 2016, then 20 and 15. So that might be, and then if we actually look at our top 10s, you know, we can cycle through and just look, you know, we can continuously do this. So we actually had 1 in 2024 and 3 in 2023, despite only having 12 golfers in those buckets each of those years. But the one year we had 2014 and 2018, we had 0. And that's really the only other year where we had basically none. Otherwise, we've had 2 or more from this bucket inside the top 10 every single year. How many golfers do we have this year in that bucket? 16. So it's a high enough number to want to play at least 2. And I guess I don't have a worry that it's going to be the 2 10K golfers at the top here. The only worry I have is what I showed you guys with the recent form piece of it, right? Because I want to select 2 of these guys, maybe 3. And I do want to build a lineup with Xander and Schauffele. Or Jesus, Xander and Hovland. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this I think I'm going to make this a 1 to 4 bucket instead of a 1 to 3 bucket. So I'm going to change that to 4. I don't mind, because like a lot of these golfers are just fine. Billy Horschel, yeah, 72 is fine. Lucas Glover, yeah, absolutely. Eric Cole, sure. Davis Riley, I want some exposure. Bud Cauley, like we just went over the tournament and golf course stats segment to this strategy video, and we saw him when we filtered out by the data points that we found with the with that segment. Bud Cauley showed up a lot. Schauffele and Hovland are in the course history and recent form combo bucket that like just looks to do well. So too is Jacob Bridgman. These 3 golfers are in that with Ryo Hisatsune. So we have 4 of the golfers that I was showing you right here. 4. You got Xander, Victor, Bridgman, and Ryo. I wouldn't play 4 of those guys, by the way. I would not. Don't play 4. Not those 4. If you were to play 4, I wouldn't have an issue if you went this route or this route or something like this. I think you want to play Spieth or Theegala if you're playing up to 4 golfers from this, like the selection of golfers that you see on the screen. Otherwise, yeah. Can you actually do 4? I mean, I want to do a Xander Bridgman. What I'm going to end up doing is a Xander Bridgman Ryo lineup at some point in time, right? As long as they're not in the same marquee tee time, which they are not. And then I don't mind if they get paired up with any of these guys below them. I'd be lucky if a Bud Cauley got included in those buckets. So yeah, I'm going to make that a 4. 1 to 4. There we go. HA, roll call. Okay, sure. Roll call. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. Out of these golfers, who are you playing? Can't zoom in any further than it is. I don't think I can, at least. 300? 200 is the most. So Xander, Hovland, Bridgman, Spieth, Theegala, Ryo, Taylor Moore, Kevin Streelman. Can I actually post this? I can. There you go. Who you playing? Sorry that it kind of came out kind of weird. It did come out weird. Thank you, AJ, for the reminder. I was on a roll. Just like my tires, Bridgman. LBT Titan, what's going on, man? Nice to see you in the chat. Gala, I like that. Lombardi says Isatsune. Bizzle, Mr. Bizzle. John Bizzle with Bridgman. And same with Joanne. I like this. Yeah. Bridgman seems like a pretty good play. Okay. Moving on. Anybody else in chat? If you throw it in there, I will give you credit for the next 15 minutes, I guess. That works for me. Okay. So that was bucket 1. I'll try to speed it up here a little bit for bucket 2. So bucket 2 says 0 to 2. We take a look at it. We get Jordo, Sahith, and a bunch of 7K golfers. Could I see myself playing 3 of these guys? I think the question's no. I don't want to. Like, the only 3 that I would consider, maybe there's a couple, would be including Sahith and Jordan together in a lineup, and then including someone like Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, or maybe Mac Meisner, because he's obviously like modeling out well for everybody, including me. Or Mac Hughes, Matty Schmid. I don't have issues there, but they're just not strong enough plays for me to be like, no, I need to move this to at least 3 golfers. So I think this is fine. I'm going to keep it at 2. Last year 3s. This is also a 0 to 2 bucket. So last year 3s, what do we see? Yep, that's fine. 0 to 2. I do not want to play any more. I don't want to play 3 or more of these guys. Like, there's potential, but there's a lot of volatility. A lot of volatility. So we'll move on to last year 4s. And there aren't a lot. I think this is a 0 to 2 bucket as well. Yeah, 0 to 2, that's fine. Could it be a 0 to 1 bucket? I think, ooh, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to make it a 0 to 1 bucket. Absolutely. Last year 4s, 0 to 1. Yep, we're making it. We're making that way. Going to last year 5s. There are a ton. These are your missed cuts from last year. Griffin, Højgaard, Smalley, Bez. Okay, so what's our projection? We have this set 0 to 3. I can already tell you 0 to 3 is a fantastic number. I do not want more than 3 of these guys. There's not even a single one in here that I would want to anchor my lineups around. I do like Alex Smalley. I like those. I like him. I do like the Højgaard boys. And I'm not going to be shy from playing Ben Griffin, but I'm not trying to force Ben Griffin into my lineups. It'd be 0 to 0. And then the rest of these guys from Seabez down, like Andrew Putnam has my attention. Blades Brown actually has my attention. The kid's good. The kid's really good at golf. But outside of that, I just don't care. I guess I do have wheels up very own Jackson Suber, but I don't know if that's even necessary. Maybe for a flyer. But yeah, I'm not trying to force that in. Takumi Kanaya, by the way, I don't remember what podcast I was listening to or watching, but driving accuracy matters, and he is a fairly accurate driver. So that's a possibility. I'll consider it, but I'm not forcing that one either. And golfers that did not play last year, you have Batia, Fitzpatrick, Cantley, Brooks, JJ Small. Okay, so you get a jam pack. It's just jam packed full of golfers, and this is a 2 to 5 bucket. I can already tell you 2 to 5 is good enough. Well, actually, no. I don't want to make this one a little too easy. The only time I wouldn't want it to be a 2 is if there were enough expensive golfers where we couldn't put 3, or I should say, at least 2 of the golfers together. But with Akshay being the most expensive golfer at 10,000 and Fitzpatrick being 98, you could pair these guys up and build a lineup just fine. So there's no way 2 golfers from this bucket is going to break the bank. It would just be, are there enough golfers down here that we don't want to play? And I don't see it. We have Smotherman down here. Remember, the guy, his wife is about to have a baby. Sungjae is even in this bucket, which is insane. Danny McCarthy's in this bucket. That's good to see. Michael Brennan as well. Marty Doe, who has played well here in the past. I mean, there's a lot of other good names. Okay. This comes down to how are you going to build your lineups? As you can see, I don't think there's a single golfer, by the way. Let's double check something really quick. Kevin Streelman is the only golfer from this core of golfers that we were mentioning that I was talking about before that did not play the year before. So if we are including a Xander or a Hovland, and we're building the lineup with 3 of these guys, so say Bridgman, Spieth, Theegala, Hisatsune, like any 3 of those guys to go with Hovland and or Schauffele. When we look at this bucket, we can't put any of these guys in there. So do we see 2 of these guys down here finishing inside the top 10 that we want to put in with our lineups? If we're also going that expensive, we probably can't play anybody 8K and above. So we're forced to play some of these 7K golfers. And are they good enough? 7 to 6K golfers? Are there enough of these guys that we're like, oh yeah, no, we want to play them? I mean, Smotherman, sure, but we already know that his wife is due Monday and could have that baby anytime from now until then. Pearson Coody has been playing god awful. And I don't know if I feel like this is gonna be a decent course for him. Not a lot of water in play that he has to be worried about. Sungjae, Tony Finau. Yeah, you know, there's enough names down here that could get by. I'm very, very leery. If I'm going the route of Xander and somebody else from that one selection of golfers, I don't think I can put 2 to 5 as a projection here, because I could see 1, if not 2 of these guys finishing inside the top 10, and I won't be able to put them in my lineup. So when we're building lineups with the optimizer, you got to keep that in mind. If you have a strategy and one of the buckets is kind of going against the grain, you got to change it. So I'm going to change it to 1 to 5 for my own lineup strategies, because chances are I'm just going to go in here and anchor around some of these golfers anyways. Like, I like Brooks, so I'm going to anchor some of my lineups around Brooks. So it does not need the optimizer's help in you know, trying to find. I mean, there is a chance that it won't pick up one of these guys, like for a second golfer, but I doubt it. Here, let's do a test run really quick. So I like Xander, like I said. I'm gonna go Xander. Actually, let's do this. Let's do our cheap guys. Let's go Bridgman. By the way, Bridgman and Spieth are playing together, so you can't put those golfers together. Let's do a test run. So I want Bridgman, Theegala, and Hisatsune. I'm pretty sure those golfers are not together. So there's Theegala and Hisatsune. Now, I'm also going to include Brooks, who also is a marquee tee time golfer, but not in any of those other groups. And we'll run this and see how many last year's 6s get selected. It ran pretty fast. Look at Kevin Streelman, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He was in that group of golfers that make 4. I don't want that. But look, 3 last year's 6 golfers were just selected. So that was pretty easy. We have 2 in this lineup. That's okay. And then only 1. Okay. So there is a potential issue. Sung Jae, I like that. Okay. I guess we keep it at 2. If I'm building lineups like this, where I have 3 of these guys set, yeah, I think that is the way to go. Now, if I make this a 1 and I do not anchor Satsune and I just do 2 of these guys, we get our 3 and then we get Streelman again, but we get Rio in there. Of course we do. Rio just gets selected. Just, oh my God. Just naturally. Okay. There's 2 last year 6s there. 3 last year 6s there. 3 again. 3 again. 2. 3. 3. 3. 3 again. Okay. So if I don't go very focused and specific with those golfers from that, we'll just call it the elite group. If we don't select from that elite group of golfers, at least 3 of them, and we only go with 2, I don't have to worry about this. But if I do select 3, I will have to change this to 2. I said that the wrong way. I meant it the other way. If I don't select 3 or more, I can keep this at 1. But if I do select 3 or more, then I have to make that a 2. Which just makes me want to just put 2 in there already. So there, we've settled it. It's 2. We'll go from there. All right, so that's the last year bucket. Yeah, this is very in depth. I don't see. We can make this a little faster, I think. Okay. Last week ones, the projections 1 to 3. Let's take a look. So what I would do is make sure we select all here, go to last week, clear out everything, and look at 1. And yeah, so this bucket is enormous. These are all the golfers who finished top 20 at the Players Championship. Every golfer is in a marquee tee time except for Patrick Rogers. Just throwing that out there. And do I think, well, 1, I guess, is it possible to build a lineup with more than 3 of these golfers? And I think the answer is just a resilient no. Maybe if Smotherman was for sure playing all 4 rounds, if he makes the cut. But if we start from here going up, I don't even think it's possible. You had to build a lineup with those 4 golfers right there just to have enough salary cap to build, you know, another, or to add 2 other golfers that are somewhat decent. So yeah, we're sticking that one to 1 to 3. That's an easy one. We're moving on. Next bucket, 0 to 2. Last year 2s. We have 11 golfers in this bucket like we just did with last year 1s. Last year 2s. And this is a 0 to 2 bucket. Can we see more than 2 being in the GPP winning lineup? And I think that has largely to do with, what are your feelings on Patrick Cantlay as playing well this week? Do we think that's going to happen? I don't know. I don't think so. And I don't care. However, I can see 3. I want to build a lineup with 3 of these guys. So there we go. Last week 2s. Oh, I already set it to 0 to 3. Look at me being smart. I think I just saw the projection was so close to being over 2 that I changed it to 3. Okay, cool. Love it. Love it. Just to give a little bit more confidence to this, we've seen 0 to 4. We've seen 0. That's 0 to 4 top 10s, I mean. And over here, this is top 5 frequencies. We've seen 0 to 3. So that's good. That's good. Moving on to the next bucket. Last week 3s. 0 to 2 is the projection there. So we'll go to last week 3s. Do we see more than 2 here? I do not. And I could see 0. So we move on. Last week 4s. 0 to 2 here as well. Do we see more than 2? The answer is no. I mean, I like Brennan. And then nobody else really is a for certain. I mean, Castillo, maybe. Wrighton, maybe. Finau, maybe. I don't know. Not enough. Not enough for me, man. So 0 to 2 is fine there. The next one is 1 to 4. Last week 5s. Golfers who missed the cut at the Players Championship. Last week 5s. Top price guy, Ben Griffin. Don't trust him. Davis Thompson, the stat fish of the week for Byron. I don't care for Davis Thompson either. I do like Højgaard. I want to believe in Cootie, but I just don't see it. I like Aaron Rye. That's fine. Grazerman is also fine. What I am seeing is there are no for certains that I want to choose from this bucket. And I don't want to try to force more than 3 golfers in my lineups. So 1 to 4, I mean, I already said I don't want to try 3, but 4? No. So 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 is fine. We could also trim it down to 1 to 3, but 1 to 4 is okay. Last week 6 is golfers that did not play last week. There are 52 of them. And the projection is 0 to 2. So that could change 0 to 3. We'll see. We get Niergaard Peterson, which has been a golfer that we've seen at the top of the stats that we've been filtering out by going over the golf course and the tournament information. That's something to consider. I like John Perry. I like Billy Horschel. I like Blades Brown. I like Chris Ventura. I also like Dan Brown. And I could give Jimmy Stanger another look. These are all speculative plays. Every single one of them. None of them, except for maybe Billy Horschel, gives me any confidence to play. So this 0 to 2 bucket could be 0 to 3. And I think I might have that in the optimizer. Oh, no, I have 0 to 2. Interesting. Huh. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm going to use this and look at our last week 6s right here. Inside the top 10, we had 0 last year, 1, 3, 1, 2, 0, 1, 5, 9, 6, 11, 5. Oh my God. What are these tournaments? 2018, 2017, 2016, and 2011. So wait, hold on. 2018 to 2015. Let's take a look. Maybe the answers will be right there in front of us. 2018. The tournaments before were the WGC Mexico Championship as well as the Puerto Rico Open. 2017 was Mexico. 2016 was Mexico. 2015 was Mexico. There you have it. We do not have the Mexico, WGC Mexico, or anything like that before this week's tournament. It is the Players Championship. If we went to 2019, look, the Players Championship. 2021 was, coming back from COVID. 2022, look, the Players Championship. 2023, the Players Championship. 2024, the Players Championship. 2025, the Players Championship. So we can ignore 2018 and beyond. And when we do that and we look at the last week's 6s, it is a bunch of 0 to 3s, no more. 3 one time. One time there was a 3. That's it. So we're keeping that 0 to 2. Okay. Moving on. That was last week. So we got through 2 buckets so far. Course history bucket. 0 to 2 course history 1s. Let's make sure there are no filters on the last week bucket anymore, and we go to course history 1s. 0 to 2. Well, could we play 3 of these guys? We could. We could play 3 pretty easy. We've got Hovland. We've got Schauffele. 2 10K golfers. Probably won't play those guys together, but putting Corey Connors with Rio and any of the other 3 golfers in this bucket could be doable. However, I take that back. Hovland is in the same marquee tee time as Corey Connors. That makes that pretty simple. The only lineup that could possibly work out would be a Xander, Corey Connors, and Rio lineup. which I could do one time and I would have to force the issue, which would be fine. I think if I put that lineup in, we went Xander, Corey Connors, and Rio. Will the optimizer break? So it does. Oh boy. Well, if I put 3 course history 3s, I think that's going to be okay. I don't know if it's going to try to build that lineup ever. What we could do to make ourselves feel better for trying to play 3 is looking at this course history 1 bucket. 2 1 2 1 1 0 0 1 2 3 3 2 0. If I remove the counts, how many numbers do we see? 10 6 3 3 7 0 4 8 10. So when the numbers are large, it's a good bucket to pick from. The issue is this year the bucket is not large, so we are keeping it to 2. 0 to 2. All right, course history 2. Let's look at that. Another 0 to 2 bucket. 16 golfers in the bucket this year. And we get JT, Spieth, Thigala. So Spieth and Thigala are already golfers that I want to put in my lineups. You do get the Smotherman again. Baby withholding so far. Outside of this bucket, or outside of those golfers, do we see more than one guy or more than 2 golfers that we want to put in a lineup together? I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes. I think it's really close. And if I wanted to make myself feel better, I'll go here, go to course history 2. We have 4 1 2 2 2 0 3 2. I look at the total numbers. 14 8 16 22 25 14 16 18. Okay, so this stretch right here would make me feel comfortable if there's multiple top 10s. 3 2 0 0 1 2. Ooh, not great. Not great, Bob. 2 2 2 1. The 1 was with 8 golfers, so at least 2. Okay, I pumped my brakes. I'm gonna pump my brakes. I could go in and look at every golfer that was a course history 2 for every year and just show you what that actually, why not, right? Why not? Course history 2 every single year. Who were our golfers? 10K golfer, $9,400 golfer, $6,800 golfer. There's 3 guys right there inside the top 10. Don't think that this filter applies down here. It does not. Was that correct with course history 2s? We actually had 4. Where's our 4th one? What am I missing? Oh, there's a T4 Rio 6,600. Okay. Okay. I was wrong. 2024. 9th place finish. KH Lee, $6,500. The 6K range in this for this bucket is so far looking really good. $68, $66, $65, 2023, $6,200 Doc Redman. And then we do have 2 top 10s up here in Spieth and Thomas. So 10K golfers. Whenever Justin Thomas is in this bucket, he's good. He's real good. Again, we have 66K golfers down here. T3, T16, 6,500, 6,800. Something to look into. 2021. JT in this bucket again. Only finished 13th though. Burnsley finished 1st. Yako, do we have a 6K golfer down here? No. No good 6K golfer this year. That is a first. 2019. Look at that. $6,600 Luke Donald. That's the twice, though, he's shown up there. $6,900 Ryan Armour. 7K Austin Cook. No guys 9K and above really that were that good. 2018. 7th place Jim Furyk. And then nobody in the 6K range, really. And, oh, yeah, nobody up. Well, there weren't that many expensive golfers. Never mind. 2017. We don't have prices. Interesting. So these guys are live. Davis Riley. Everybody and their listen, just load up on Davis Riley. This is just a telltale sign Davis Riley is going to do well. JT is in this bucket yet again. JT, when he's in this bucket, hasn't finished worse than 13th. We just went through it. He didn't see his name anywhere else. I mean, I guess we could look really closely this time for just Justin Thomas from this bucket. You know what? I'll sort by name, and we'll go down to Justin Thomas. This is whenever he's been in the course history 2 bucket. Justin Thomas, where you at, buddy? You could also just type him in as a golfer. 13th, 3rd, 10th. Oh, okay, 64th. That's why I didn't see him. 64th, 10,400, and then 2nd. That would be 4 top 13s, 3 top 10s, and only 1 time out of five iterations was he outside. He made the cut every single year. That would be his cheapest. That is his cheapest price tag too, by the way. So maybe there's a time where if he's not the favorite golfer, you don't play him. Maybe. I don't know. Interesting. Very interesting. It makes me like Justin Thomas that much more, though. I'm really feeling like a Xander JT lineup or a Bridgman JT lineup or maybe a Xander JT Theegala lineup with maybe even Rio or something like that. Not with Rio, but maybe Theegala or Rio. All those lineups, like starting points, seem really good. Really good. Okay. So that was course history 2. Course history 3, 1-3. And we get Bridgman, Cantlay, Ben Griffin, Brooks. I just saw Wheels Up talk about Brooks. We get Billy down here, Schmid, Novak. I kind of like Novak. So 1-3 bucket. Could we see more than 3? We could, but it's difficult. It'd be difficult to forecast. I don't think Griffin's playing good enough to be considered. I like Koepka just because I like Koepka. I don't think Cantlay is good enough right now to do it. Bridgman seems good enough to do it. I'm going to keep it 1-3. That bucket's 1-3. Keeping it at 1-3, I feel good about it. Oh gosh, it could be 1-4. Do I have it as 1-4, course history 3? I do have it as a 1-4. Okay. I mean, I'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm not sure if I agree with that right now, but it's pretty darn close. At least at the very least, I'm only making the optimizer select one of them. Okay. Course history 4, 1-3. Let's take a look at the golfers there. Starts with Batia, JJ Spawn, Keegan Bradley, Max Homa, Smalley, Olesen, Rogers, Budcott. Yeah. So at least one of these guys, yeah, for sure. I can see one golfer from this bucket being inside the top 10. Do I really want to try to force more than 3? No. No, I don't. So that projection is just fine. 1-3. Yeah, there's nobody I really care to play. Course history 5 and course history 6 are 0-2s. I think we just look at these very quickly and move on. Højgaard, Pendrith, Thompson, Højgaard, Rye, Cootie. Well, this is where I actually would disagree with myself and say maybe there's a possibility 3 of these guys. Nah, we'll keep it at 2. We will keep it at 2. There are 23 golfers in that bucket. If I went to this, we went to the bucket system on the website and we go down to course history 5s and we take a look just at course history 5s. 1, 1, 5, 1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 1, 4, 4. If I take out this, what do we see? Pretty much the same numbers all the way across. 23, 28, 22. 22 is when there were 5. Look at this, 5 in 2023. There was 22 golfers in that bucket. 22. We had 28 the year before, or the year after, and then 23. The years before, 17 and 22, those were all zeros or ones. 22, 26, 27, 27, 29, 38. So when the number actually picks up, that's when these numbers go up as well. 28 golfers. And this week, again, we have 23. It's close, but I don't care. I'm not trying to put more than 2 golfers in my lineup. And course history 6s. It's also a 0 to 2 bucket. And it starts with Matt Fitzpatrick. First time ever playing this tournament. Yeah, he can be the only guy that I'd want out of these. And actually, I wouldn't mind putting a Matt Fitzpatrick with a Marco Penge or a Christopher Wrighton or a John Perry or a Jordan L. Smith or a Johnny Kiefer or a David Ford, but I don't need to be playing 3 of these guys. Actually, you know what? I might take that back. I think I'm going to change this to 0 to 3. There are a lot of good English golfers here, and now that I see Michael Brennan down here, even Zachary Bosho, I think that's fine. If the optimizer selects more than... Did I change the course history 5 to 3? I don't even remember. I have really bad short-term memory. Did we switch that to 3? I said 0 to 2, and I was okay with it. But I'm going to keep it 0 to 3. Whatever I just said, I'm taking it back, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. 0 to 3 is fine. So the number of this has gone up so much. 17 for a max. That's pretty large. That is just your guy here, not really certain about the course history bucket. Recent form. Let's take a look at this. Maybe I can go through this one fast. Maybe not. I don't know. Going through this and trying to really narrow down what I like, what I don't. 0 to 2 last year ones. We have 7 this year. Recent form ones. Again, make sure all your filters are off of the course history one, and we go into the recent form, clear everything out, select one, and we get Fitzpatrick, Bridgman, Nikolai, Rio, Blair, Peterson, and Skins. Yeah, this was just a 0 to 2 bucket all the way through and through. I'm not even going to try to do more than that. Not good enough, not even worthy enough. 1 to 3 recent form 2s. Lots of 10K golfers. So here's the thing. Projection is 1 to 3. There is a possibility 2 of these guys finish inside the top 10, and you can only play 1 of them. So you would have to limit your expectations of how many golfers you could select from this bucket to put in your lineup. Maybe you could select those 2 guys, but what if it's one of these 2 guys, or let's say one of these 3 guys, or 2 of these 3 guys, I should say, and maybe a Jordan Spieth or a Sahith Theegala. What if it's one of those guys added with? You would not be able to play 2 of these guys with 1 of these guys. So you'd want to limit yourself on that. So 1 to 3 is fine. And really the only argument that I'm trying to make is maybe a 2 to 4 or a 1 to 4. And there are some enticing names down here, but we'll just keep it as is. We will keep it as is. 2 to 5 for recent form 3s. Is that a volume-driven bucket? Yeah, 58 golfers are in that bucket. Nearly 50% of the strength of field goes towards this bucket. I don't even know if I'm really going to change this. JT's in it. Brooks is in it. Those are the only 2 golfers I really care about, honestly. Is that a 2 to 5 bucket? It is. Or it's a 2 to 6. Ooh, 2 to 6. Do I have it as 2 to 5? I have it as 2 to 5, but it's really 2 to 6. Okay. Yep. All right, moving on. 1 to 3 for recent form 4. Starts with JJ Spawn, and then it just drops. This is a 1 to 3 bucket. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 0 to 3 bucket. I'm not forcing anything out of this bucket. And I actually have that as 0 to 3. Good to know. I didn't even look at the golfers, and I already changed it to 0 to 3. Recent form 5 and 6. Not a lot of golfers in either of these buckets. But we can take a look. 0 to 2. Do I see more than 2 golfers here? I do not. How about recent form 6s? Do we see more than... No. No, we do not. Okay. So we'll clear all those out. And we're done with the core buckets when it comes to the bucket system. I'm not going to look at salaries. We can look at them together, but there's no reason to be like, oh, we need to select 2 of these guys, or we need to select 3. We just have to be open to there being multiple selections. So the projections that we currently have, 0 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, but I changed these to 0 to 3, 0 to 3, 1 to 4, and then 0 to 2. You can see that reflected right here with the salaries. 0 to 2, 0 to 3, 0 to 3, 1 to 4, and then 0 to 2 with the 6K golfers. So that one was fast to go through. Looking at the strokes gained buckets. 0 to 3 for strokes gained 1. We have 7 golfers in that bucket this year, where we normally see around 10. So you'd go to the strokes gained bucket over here, clear everything out, and just select 1. Actually, you know what? It's color coded, so we don't even need to filter. We can sort. So sort from top to bottom. You can see this is all color coded based off of the strokes gained stats. So we have Xander, Fitzpatrick, Spieth, Griffin, Penrith, Castillo, and Rogers. I'm not trying to force more than 3 of these guys together. That's this would be a, I will say this. I'm sure a lot of my lineups will have Spieth in it. A lot of my lineups will have Xander in it, and not the rest of my lineups will have Fitzpatrick in it, but a good chunk of them will have Fitzpatrick in them. But I am not forcing the optimizer to select at least 1 from this bucket. So we're good. 0 to 3 is fine. Strokes gained 2. Starts with Batia, $10,000. Nikolai, JJ Spawn, Rasmus, Max Homa. This is not a bucket I want to select at least 1 golfer from. So do I have that in there? There's another 0 to 3. Okay, another 0 to 3. I really don't want to have to select a golfer from that bucket. We have 0 to 3. 1 to 4 strokes gained 3 golfers, though. 1 to 4, I think that's probably just going to be... Yeah, I can't lay at 94, Koepka at 91. Honors, we do have Rio in this bucket. So I like Rio. I am sure he'll be in a lot of my lineups. I like Brooks. I'm sure he'll be in a lot of my lineups. We do have Smotherman in this lineup, so be careful with that. And then you got a bunch of Englishmen. Sung J.M. Michael Brennan's in this bucket. 1 to 4 is fine. I'm not going to try to force the optimizer to select more than 1 to 4. Strokes gained 3. Strokes gained 4, 1 to 3. For this bucket, the only thing I think I might change is this might be a 0 to 3 based off of the golfers we see. I can tell you right now, that's not going to be the case. This is a 1 to 3 bucket because I like Hovland, I like Bridgman, I like Justin Thomas. Those 3 golfers might be in 100, like, you know, out of those 3 golfers, one of those golfers will definitely represent 100% of the... Geez, that's not even how I want to say that either. One of those 3 golfers will be in a... No, that's not either. Hovland might be in 33% of my lineups. Bridgman might be in the other 33%, and Thomas might be in the other 33%. I don't even know how the hell to word that. One of those guys, that group of golfers will be almost 100% of my lineups. I don't know how to, I can't think of the phrase, how to even come up with that. Like if I was to put them in a bucket, I would play at least one of them in each one of my buckets or each one of my lineups. That's the only way I know how to say that. Of the rest of the guys, Novak I like down here. I can go back to Whaley, Bosho. I could go back, even Adam Hadwin, who's had success here before. Putnam, yeah, there's a lot of good 6K golfers down here. I like Blades Brown. I like Billy Horschel. I don't mind going back to Denny McCarthy. Yeah, so 1 to 3, is that what I have for the projections here? And that's fine. Strokes gained 5. We have Thigala in this bucket. We have Finau in this bucket. You have your boy Jackson Suber down there. This is a 0 to 2 bucket, and I'm okay with that. 0 to 2, 0 to 2. Strokes gained 1, I'm pretty sure it's just one, or strokes gained 6. It's one golfer. His name's Greg Koch, I'm pretty sure. Or Koch, however you want to pronounce it. I'm okay with not playing him. That's fine. So, that's it for the bucket system, ladies and gentlemen. It was almost a whole hour talking about that, which is fine. I wanted to narrow down on this and make sure that I have the projections that I want and need. So we did make some updates, didn't make a lot, but we were able to validate the buckets that we want. For those that are still in the chat, just type in the number 1. We'll make it easy. That will be roll call number 2. And I will set up for the marquee tee times. Mr. Henson told me you were not feeling well today, but you are back. Good to see you. I will wait for some of you guys to come in. Actually, whoever types 1 in the chat, I will give you credit. Okay. We're moving on to the marquee tee times. So here we go. We go over this every single week. The purpose is to find the golfers we're going to anchor our lineups around. The marquee tee times are just the best 9 groups in the field, the best 9 tee groups, tee times. So they have to be playing together, obviously, and it's just based off the sweet spot rank. So group 1 is Batia, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Justin Thomas. Each one of you guys, you can eyeball this. This is also on the optimizer down here in groups 1 through 9. You can see that I'm having the optimizer select 2 to 4 of these golfers, and there's a maximum of 1 per group. Maximum of 1 per group. Why? Because every single week that I cover the marquee tee times and I review the tournaments Sunday nights, I go over the marquee tee times, and I think I'm at a 93% success rate of just following the rules of 2 to 4 golfers for the marquee tee times, anchor your lineups around them, and you will have success. So group 1, like I said, Batia, Fitzpatrick, Justin Thomas. I don't mind playing any of them. Now, what that means for you is you don't want to play more than one of these guys together. Batia, Fitzpatrick, Thomas, select one and move on. Do not pair them up with anybody else in that group. That'll apply for the rest of these other groups. Group 2, Hovland, Koepka, Corey Connors. Group 3, Schauffele, Cantlay, Keegan Bradley. Group 4, Bridgman, Spieth, Wyndham Clark. I will have a high exposure rate to Bridgman and or Spieth which means I probably won't play Wyndham Clark all that much, which is fine. I don't really care. I'm not pushing to try to play Wyndham Clark this week. But you know, the lineups that don't have Bridgman or Spieth in it, I'll welcome in Clark if he will fit the salary constraints. The next group is Griffin, Theegala, and Tony Finau. So if I go Theegala in a lot of my lineups, that's going to remove Griffin and Finau from the situation. I'm interested in playing Tony Finau, but I am more than happy not playing him if that means I'm playing Theegala. That's fine. The group after is Spawn, Castillo, and Billy Horschel. That's group 6. I'm not looking to anchor around any of those golfers. If the optimizer chooses one of them, that's fine. The group after that is Rio Assassine, Taylor Pendrith, and Garrick Higgo. Assassine is really the only guy I care to try to play. Pendrith, though, not that far behind, honestly, when it comes to points on this in the sweet spot model. He's 13th, Pendrith is, compared to Assassine's 8th. Group 8, Smotherman, Hughes, and McCarthy. We all know about Smotherman. If you haven't heard already, he has his wife is due to have a baby Monday. So that, with childbirth, could mean tomorrow could be the due date. Or tomorrow his wife could go in labor. Or maybe Thursday, or Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday. And you better believe it's his first kid. He's going to be leaving the tournament to go be with his wife. So, yeah. Be on the lookout for that. Be prepared. And then we've got Nick Taylor, Aaron Ryan, Stephen Fisk. That's a pretty good group. I'm not really trying to anchor any of my lineups around those guys. So for the rest of you guys in chat, if you want me to build you lineups, you have to be a YouTube member. You just have to be a red tier member, which is $1.99 a month. That's all you have to do. If you want to watch my members only videos Wednesday night, Wednesday night, you have to be a white tier member or above. So I have 4 tiers to the YouTube membership: red, white, black, and gold, I think. Or champion. That's what I have. So those are your options. I'm only building lineups for those that have badges next to their names. So, yeah, give me 2 to 4 golfers to build lineups around, and we're going to play some music. Bridgman, Castillo. Okay. Very, very interesting. For the rest of you guys, just pause the video for now. If you just take a look at the golfers here, you don't have to anchor around these golfers if you don't want. The optimizer is just going to select 2 to 4 of these guys anyways. So you can actually get ahead of it and force the lineups yourself, like force the anchors yourself. So, all right, AJ, let's build you some lineups. All right, so Castillo is somewhere down here. There he is. Found him. And the Bridgeman. Okay. I will build you 5 lineups. And you know what? I think we have exposures just fine. I think we're going to be able to live with these. Bridgman, Koepka, Hisatsune, Castillo, and Cootie, and Novak. It's a pretty good lineup, dude. I actually like that lineup. Fitzpatrick in Bridgman, 998-776. So there we go. We get the 9 plus 9, 8-776. Fitzpatrick, Bridgman, Bradley, Castillo, Grazerman, and Grillo. You have an even amount of AM, PM golfers. Next group after that is Xander, Bridgman, Taylor Pendrith, Castillo, Brennan, and Kevin Yu. That's a pretty solid lineup. Pretty good. Next group after that is Bridgman, Griffin, Homa, Castillo, McCarty, and the Smotherman. Yep, we know about the Smotherman. Hey, if you want to win lots of money, you got to take risks. So we'll put one lineup of the Smotherman in. And then we go Xander, Bridgman, Castillo, Finau, Sung J M, and Eric Cole. This lineup would be really good 2 years ago. Like really good 2 years ago. I don't hate it. I don't like it. I'm going to kick out Finau. But if you want to keep it, all the more power to you. This is a lineup I like a little bit more. Bridgman, Cantlay, Højgaard, Castillo, McCarthy, and Eric Cole. Yeah, that one's a little bit better. Okay. 5 lineups for a man, AJ Love. Moving on. Ryan Henson, Theegala, Fitz, and Ford. Theegala, Fitz, and David Ford. $6,900. Nice. Shoffley, Fitzpatrick, Theegala, Mac Hughes, David Ford, and Davis Riley. You know what I'll give you? I'll give you one of these, bud. That, sir, is a good lineup. That's a sexy lineup. Fitzpatrick, Koepka, Theegala, Rasmus Højgaard, Billy Horschel, and David Ford. That's another fantastic lineup. 998876. It's a really good lineup. That deserves another song, but we'll just keep it as is. Fitzpatrick, Theegala, Hisatsune. Lovely dude. We're getting 2 of the dudes from that elite group that we want to select from. Works out perfect. We switch out a little bit, but we still get Wyndham Clark. So I don't know if you care about Wyndham, but if you wanted an opportunity to play Wyndham, here it is. But we can change that if we keep going. 3 subs away from 25? Is that what we're at? We need 25 likes before I get... Oh, no. 3 subs away from 900 subs. I see. 3 subs away. I thought you said 3 likes away. 14 likes. If we can get this to 25 likes, I will give out 5 free memberships. Just throwing that out there. Here's a pretty decent lineup, Ryan. We get Hovland, Fitzpatrick, Theegala, Cootie, Ford, and Fishburne. Pretty solid, dude. Pretty solid. Those were pretty good lineups, Mr. Henson. 5 decent lineups. We have time. Can we see Hovland, Xander to see what it does later? Yeah, I think if we could probably just do it right now because it's not going to be able to select anybody in here, and we have a high ownership here. So it's forced to select a lot of these 7K golfers. I'm sure it's going to be able to. Oh, do we have David Ford still locked in there? Hey, this ain't a bad lineup to have David Ford still locked in. Razorman, Finau, Cole, and Ford. Again, I'm kicking out Finau, although I don't hate Finau this week. I just don't like some of the buckets he's in. Razorman, Horschel, Rico Hoey. Hey, good time to play Rico Hoey. Xander Hovland, Nick Taylor. So an $8,000 golfer to go with these three, or the other two. Then we go Schmid, Ford, and Chandler Phillips. Yeah, that's a pretty good lineup too. Okay, I'll kick out Ford. I forgot to kick out Ford. That's solid. Super solid. Shoffley, Hovland, Rogers. We could get 3 6s and a 7? Or I mean, Jesus, 3 7s and a 6? Odges is $6,900. That's pretty good. Yeah, so Shoffley, Hovland works just fine. Woodland, by the way. Did you hear that he has PTSD about his surgery and about, or at least how he used to feel? Isn't that sad to some extent? Like, you fight off this tumor that was causing you constant fear, and now you have fear of having fear. Oh my God, is that just awful, dude? Awful. Feel really bad for him. Do we think EVR can come back? Because if so, this lineup isn't terrible outside the... Okay, I'm going to save this one and then kick out Wyndham Clark. Yeah, so Optimizer's going to love Wyndham Clark. Does not like Davis Thompson, which is absolutely fine. Does not like Spawn, which is absolutely fine. Honors, yeah, I mean, we're going to have to force in some of these. Spieth, by the way, not getting any love, nor was Justin Thomas. You guys are crazy. Xander, Hovland, Pendrith, Colley, love Colley, Whaley, and Streelman. So Streelman was a part of that elite group with Xander, so I get my 2 guys that way. But I also don't really care for Streelman. Don't really care at all. Okay. Is that it? Is that all we have for members who want lineups built? Again, red tier member, $199 a month. That's all you need. And you get 4 weeks of lineup building. 4 weeks. If you want to come in here and ask for lineups to be built. That's all. I'm going to build some lineups. So these are all of your lineups. I like to save them. Unfortunately, you guys haven't built any good lineups all year. Which is sad to say, but I keep track just in case one of you guys puts together a really good lineup and I get to track it, but there's just nobody is getting close. How does Jay Paul rank in your model? Yeah, he's all right. He's aight. Are we talking about like all the golfers that Pat Mayo brings up? Because this is the point of the year, or the point of his podcast, I Don't Care. He used to be really good at picking a lot of these lesser known guys, but some of these are just for no reason. Jeremy Paul, not Jake Paul, Jeremy Paul. $6,200. Actually, doesn't really rate well in the model at all. '22nd place finish here last year, so that's good. Good on approach. So he's negative tee to green, negative off the tee, negative approach, negative around the green, and just break even with putting. Yeah, I think we just not. And don't even pretend we did. Don't care. I believe he's a German or a Belgium. And I think I thought, well, no. I always thought he used to hit, like he could hit the ball far. But I don't think he does. What was his price tag again? 62 hundo. Jeremy Paul. Yeah, he's pretty much average with distance. 290, doesn't really ever get over 300 for his distances. Accuracy is kind of not good. Not good at all. That's probably why his off the tee stats are always negative. Okay. Okie doke. German, I think. All right. Ali Morales. So Ali, I build lineups for people who have the badges and kind of, you know, an incentive to buy the badge, but also for those that do buy the badge to have lineups built. They're not going to like if I build lineups for somebody who does not have a badge next to their name. Hovland, Niergaard, Peterson, and Koepka. I'll build you one lineup. Actually, I'll put all of these other golfers back. And Niergaard, Peterson. Just one. It breaks because... Here you go. Here at SweetSpotDFS, we follow the marquee tee times. And remember, I mentioned this. I don't know if you were here when I was going over the marquee tee times, but here they are. I will highlight these. We don't want to play more than one golfer from a group in our lineups. We want to select 2 to 4 golfers from the groups we see, but we don't want to play more than one golfer per group. So Hovland and Brooks are right here in group 2. So really you'd want to separate that. So if you like Brooks more than Hovland, then you'd want to find a replacement for Hovland. So maybe that's Cantlay, maybe that's Batia, maybe it's Fitzpatrick. So I could literally do all of those. So here's a Xander one. Xander, Koepka, Cootie, Grazerman, Peterson, Finau. I don't really care about Finau. Finau's going to show up just because he's a talent. Fitzpatrick, Koepka, Hitsatsune, Grazerman, Moore, Peterson, and who was the last guy I mentioned? We could do JT. Batia was the guy. Well, Batia or JT, I suppose. We'll do a little Batia action. Batia, Koepka, Hitsatsune, Grazerman, Niergaard, Peterson, and then Finau and JT. Jati Moramai. Oh, we don't like Woodland. Yes, I was in time for that. Thank you for trying. Yeah, of course, man. Okay, so I will be building lineups tomorrow night during the members only stream. But I am already like, I already know I'm going to have a tremendous amount of Xander. I'm going to have up to 41% of Xander. I'm probably going to keep Hovland around 27 to 30%. I don't trust him. I'm going to keep him at 27, actually. Batia, 24.5. Fitzpatrick, I'll actually bump him up to 22.5. Bridgman, I'll bump up to 25%. I really like Bridgman. I really like Justin Thomas, 25%. Cantlay I'll bump down to 14%. Spieth will come up to 20.5%. Koepka will also come up to 20.5%. Theegala will come up to 20.5%. Satsune will come up to 20.5%. These might change. I might have to get them higher even yet. But like a Xander, JT, which I'm sure is going to be a very popular start, into Theegala or Satsune. I mean, these three golfers together, I think I like the most. And so you can see it comes with Cootie, Brennan, and Fishburne. Yeah, that's fine. Cootie, Brennan, Streelman. Sure. I mean, Cootie and Brennan. So I'd have to go into this and try to force out Cootie. So that's what I will do. See what other lineups it will build. Perry, Novak, Brennan. That sounds wonderful. 10-9-8-7-6-6. That is absolutely a-okay with me. Now, an additional lineup strat would be not with Schauffele, but I bring in Bridgman instead. Remember, Bridgman is a part of that elite group. So Bridgman with Theegala, this should give me a ton of flexibility with lineups. So 9-9-8-7-7-6. That's what we've been seeing all year long, right? So Brennan will get the boot. SH Kim comes in with Eric Cole, and now it's a 9-9-8-8-7-6, which is also very good, a very good lineup build. 9-9-8-7-7-6. 9-9-8-7-7-6. This is another good one. No issues here. Not playing. I probably won't even play any Gary Woodland. Marty Doe with Nick Taylor and Rico Hoey seems pretty good. So yeah, lineups like this, I am absolutely 100% okay with. Homa, Perry, Novak, yeah, sign me up, man. So I will be exploring lineups like this tomorrow in the members only live stream. So if you want, again, to be a part of that, a white tier membership, yeah. Who is my highest 6K golfer? Highest ranked 6K golfer. Andrew Novak, $6,800. He is 22nd in my model, followed by Michael Brennan, Emiliano Grillo, Kevin Yu, Vince Whaley, Gary Woodland. Why he's been showing up a lot. Davis Riley, by the way. I might just build one lineup tomorrow where I'm gonna handpick like 4 or 5 golfers and just see what the optimizer does with like the last guy. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Anything before I leave tonight? It's a healthy stream. Went over the bucket system very in depth, which I am happy about. Thank you, AJ. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Jim comes in. Hello, hello, hello. Jim, you got any questions for me? I was just logging off, just signing off. But now that you're here, I will see if you have anything that you'd like me to share. plug my Sunday show. I've been plugging it the whole stream, but yeah, Sundays I recap last week's tournament, or the tournament that just ended on Sunday, and I also preview the tournament ahead, the next tournament to be played, with Byron Lindeque, Back Nine Bets on YouTube, the Model Maniac on X. He also has a Discord channel. We've been having a blast. It's a great way to start the week off with research. We get into some really good data nuggets and all that stuff. And yeah, we also recap the tournament that just happened, which, you know, either left us in disbelief, anger, disappointment, or joy, happiness, whatever. But yeah. Jim says, no, I'm good. Just want to say hi. Hello to you, sir. Thank you for stopping in for the brief moment that we were here together. Logan says it's great vibes, which I agree. It is great vibes. Byron and I get along together really well. All right, ladies and germs, I will see you all tomorrow. I am getting out of here and enjoying the rest of the night. So hopefully you guys do the exact same thing. I'm trying to get out of here. Forgot all the pages that I'm at. Anyways, see you later.